Divided for years by sectarian hatred, Ian Paisley and Martin McGuinness are now formally colleagues at the head of Northern Ireland's new power-sharing government. Watched by Tony Blair and the Irish Prime Minister Bertie Ahern, the two old enemies took the pledge of office in the Stormont Assembly and later joked and smiled together as they drank tea with the Prime Ministers. Ian Paisley said Northern Ireland has come to a time of peace. And Martin McGuinness said he and Dr Paisley were stepping forward to the most exciting challenge of their lives. Our political editor Gary Gibbon reports now from Belfast.
The former IRA chief and the former Protestant supremacist. In their time, both these men said Northern Ireland was only for their people. Now they are resolved to share it.
Well, Ian.
I'm well. Take the middle seat.
Tony Blair and the Irish Prime Minister Bertie Ahern flew in to mark the occasion. Ian Paisley squeezed them onto a sofa with the Northern Ireland Secretary. The image said much. These men were now guests in a Northern Ireland that would run itself. Ian Paisley told them how the set-piece speeches would go.
I'll speak first, and my deputy will speak second, and then you can arrange with the Prime Minister, and then the guests from the south will be invited. Well, not be invited, we just do that.
Dr Paisley makes a point of calling Martin McGuinness my deputy. Martin McGuinness points out they're joint heads of the government. But in private, the two men are on first-name terms, and civil servants here have been staggered by the easy relationship between a man who helped to organise the Troubles and one whose rhetoric stoked them.
Well, I wonder why people hate me, because I'm such a nice man. There are some words from Holy Scripture, and it says, "We know not what a day may bring forth." If you had told me some time ago that I'd be standing here to take this office, I would have been totally unbelieving. From the depths of my heart, I can say to you today that I believe Northern Ireland has come to a time of peace, a time when hate will no longer rule. How good it will be to be part of a wonderful healing in this province. Today we have begun the work of planting, and we will all look for the great and blessed harvest. Thank you.
Ian Paisley made no apology for opposing the Good Friday Agreement. He maintains he's won important reforms. His critics say he's just wasted time and should have accepted power sharing in 1998 or in the mid-1970s before the Troubles began. But no one was scoring political points today.
As for Ian Paisley, I want to wish you all the best as we step forward towards the greatest yet most exciting challenge of our lives.
And then another historic moment, the Prime Minister's first public handshake with Martin McGuinness. It wasn't choreographed, perhaps the excitement of the moment as Mr Blair saw one part of his legacy confirmed.
Just had a conversation upstairs in the First Minister's office, which the First Minister began by saying, "I'll explain this," he said. "There's you, a young man of 54, just going out of office, and here's me, a man of 80, coming in." Northern Ireland was synonymous with conflict. It was felt to be intractable. The Troubles, not so much a dispute as a fact of life. Irreconcilable differences. People felt that it could not be done, indeed sometimes even that it shouldn't be done, that the compromises involved were too ugly. Yet in the end, it was done. And this holds a lesson for conflict everywhere.
Mr Blair said today would do the power of good to optimists everywhere. But Northern Ireland remains a deeply sectarian place, where Catholics and Protestants habitually go to school, eat, drink, shop and live in separate communities. 66% of people in Belfast live in predominantly or exclusively Catholic or Protestant areas. That's up since the Good Friday Agreement. This is Clúin Place, a Protestant enclave right next to the Short Strand Catholic area. And off the back gardens of Clúin Place, a giant peace wall. It's one of 57 across Northern Ireland, and like many of them, this one went up after the Good Friday Agreement. Attacks here have diminished, but not disappeared.
I've walked up past Short Strand, but it never hasn't annoyed me.
And you've never gone in, though? You don't know anyone
No,
there?
I don't know anybody in it yet. No,
And you've lived here for 6 years. They live right behind you.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is, but I don't know. Just having the just one thing I haven't thought of doing yet. You know, maybe if everything settles down a bit more, then I'll travel in and have a look and see what way things are.
Over the wall, a sense that things might get better, but nobody's mixing yet.
It's a wee bit edgy just, but it's very little trouble now.
Better than it used to be?
Yeah, far better.
Do you ever go to Protestant areas?
No.
Martin McGuinness poses with his mother and Tony Blair, Republicans who targeted successive British Prime Ministers, now capturing them for the family album. Northern Ireland will remain a divided community for some time yet, but the sting of organised violence has been removed. Power sharing looks entrenched. And as he leaves office, Mr Blair can take a huge amount of the credit for that. Gary Gibbon, Channel 4 News, in Stormont.
We're joined now from Stormont by two men who will be working alongside each other as junior ministers in the office of the First and Deputy First Minister. Gerry Kelly of Sinn Féin and the DUP's Ian Paisley Jr. Gerry Kelly, the chemistry between you two is critical because you are the choke point that leads to everybody else in the executive. How do you two get on? Is it Ian and Gerry?
Well, yes, it is first names, but let's not be ridiculous about this. We've only started working together in a short period of time before now. We hope to build up a working relationship. We've already moved forward on that basis. It is about making a difference to the people on the ground, and both myself and Ian Paisley, Senior and Junior, and Martin McGuinness particularly want to do that.
Now, there are circumstances, Ian Paisley, in which Gerry Kelly could be responsible for justice and policing. You feel relaxed about that?
Well, of course, the circumstances for a future devolution of justice and policing are something for the Assembly to agree. Let's not bite off more than we can chew at the present time. Devolution has arrived today. We now have to get down to business. It's serious business, and whilst I know John, you will have a lot of fun about the various personalities and what they once said, what they once did, and what they should be doing now. The serious business begins where Northern Ireland men and women have to start administering Northern Ireland and ruling this place efficiently and effectively. And I think that will concentrate all our minds on doing the business that is at hand, and hopefully see Northern Ireland becoming a great wee place.
But Gerry Kelly, I mean, it does take some coming to terms with to hear Ian Paisley Sr. talking as he did at the top of this programme about reconciliation and looking towards the harvest of this peace. I mean, it's come pretty suddenly, really. I mean, I know we said it took a long time, but it feels pretty sudden, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose with this process it has jumped forward and at times jumped back quite suddenly, but there has been a lot of work involved in it. There's been a lot of negotiations and hard negotiations between ourselves and the DUP. I mean, it's not only this institution which is opened up today, it's also the all-island institutions, it's the North-South Ministerial Councils. There's a lot of work to be done. What I can say is that we worked hard to get to this point, that both main parties involved in the First and Deputy First Minister's office and in the executive wanted to work, and it's with that will and with the mandate and very strong mandates we have for both parties, there is a strong belief and an optimism that it will work, and I personally believe it will.
Now, obviously, the two of you standing there together in front of Stormont are obviously a deeply symbolic portrait tonight. But as Gary Gibbon reported from the Short Strand district, there are many areas of Belfast, many areas of the province, Ian Paisley, where sectarian divide is very, very deep. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, well, it's very symbolic, and while you say that, it starts to rain, so I hope that isn't symbolic, John. The issues that I think we have to grapple with are, of course, huge. There is a divided society here, divided community that's been at loggerheads for more than 35 years. And they're serious issues that we have to address. And that's what I'm saying. It's a daunting task, but it's something that if we concentrate on, we can hopefully make a difference. Not saying we're going to solve all of the problems overnight, but we can start to make the difference. And there's things that have happened this time around that hadn't happened the last time. We've got parties now that are fully committed to these institutions, parties that are putting Northern Ireland first, parties that are committed for the first time to the institutions of law and order, policing. They're critical steps that had to be taken to get us to this point. Now we've achieved that. Let's now deliver for the ordinary people. And if we can do that, we will see the sort of difference, and hopefully we will see the hatred give way to less suspicion and to more virtue. And if that happens, then we will see real progress.
Jerry Kelly, from Palestine to Sri Lanka, there are people looking in from bitter conflicts in which there have been key demands. Your key demand was a united Ireland. Is this a stepping stone to a united Ireland, or a pragmatic moment in which you want peace above all?
Well, it can be both. Excuse me, it can be both things. We want a united Ireland. There were, in fact, Palestinians, South Africans, people from the Basque Country and others here today. They are looking on. This has been a success story today, which I think gives hope to many of the other conflicts which were always called, and remember the conflict here was called intractable. And the fact is, and this is the fact, that we made it into a problem which could be solved and which is being solved. Now, it's early days. We will work hard to make sure that it makes a difference to the people in the north, throughout Ireland, and indeed, if I could say so, in Britain and Ireland. So there's a daunting task ahead of us, as Ian said, and we intend to pursue that with the type of energy that we've always shown in our party in terms of the policies we pursue.
Ian Paisley, is it a stepping stone towards unity, Irish unity, or is it in the end a pragmatic step that you're prepared to take in the interest of peace?
Well, I'm glad you guys haven't given up your sense of humour. I don't believe we're anywhere near Irish unity today. I believe people are entitled to desire Irish unity. I believe if they want to work towards Irish unity, they're entitled to have that aspiration. That's entirely a matter for them. But I believe the fact of the matter is that I believe the Union is tonight very safe. And I think it's safe in our hands to bring this country forward and to make progress for all the people. But, you know, we can continue this old quarrel, or we can get on with doing the business of making Northern Ireland function effectively and better for all our community. And I think that's in the wider interest of everyone. But as was said today, what's happened today does not make me less of a unionist, and I don't believe that Republicans will feel less of their desire to want to have a united Ireland. Whether they get that is, of course, a different matter.
Well, I suppose the key question at the end of it all, in a sense it's in a word, is violence at an end for all time? Jerry Kelly?
Well, please God.
Well, we have made that step between us. We want to make sure that we don't go back to the past in which many people on all sides have suffered. This is a massive step forward in terms of that, and we hope to make a difference, a very positive difference to the ordinary lives of people, the everyday lives of people in this part of Ireland and throughout Ireland.
Do you forgive each other?
I don't think that's a question, if I could answer it, which comes to mind. What we are doing is working together. As Ian pointed out, he has not become a Republican, and neither have I become a Unionist. We have some things where we are diametrically opposed politically. We have other things which we can work together, and indeed have already begun to work together on to make a difference to people, and that's what our job is. Let's take this one step at a time.
Jerry Kelly, Ian Paisley, thank you both very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.